Winter weather is headed our way. Are you prepared for your morning commute? And we sat down with the first responders you talk to when you have an emergency.
Showers and freezing rain continue as we head through tonight. We'll have to keep a close eye on those roads. A breakdown coming up as Mountain News at 6 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are continuing to keep an eye on the possibility for wintry weather moving back in later tonight, and that includes the threat for snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest on our first alert weather day. Evan?
We continue to watch, Olivia. Thank you. The first alert weather day in effect, and that includes a winter weather advisory in effect for just about everybody as we head through tonight. Here's the current look at things. It does not include our 6 northernmost counties, but everybody else goes into effect here in about an hour or so and runs until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And you see already we're dealing with some of that freezing on those cameras out there where we've been dealing with that drizzle. Slade's at 31. Road temperatures are in the upper 30s, so they're still above freezing. We'll see a little melting as that starts to move in. But either way, we're going to continue to see temperatures fall tonight. Parts of the Cumberland Valley already dropping into the low 30s. Many of us in the Kentucky River Valley and the Big Sandy have been there all day. For the most part, we're dry right now, but look off to the west. There's that freezing line. You see that blue line moving across the screen. That'll continue to scoot to the south, and moving on further to the west, there's the mess, and it's heading in our direction. I'll break it all down in a few minutes. Olivia?
Thank you, Evan. A Breathitt County woman who has been missing since the July flood has been declared legally dead. Our media partners at the Herald Leader report that Breathitt District Judge Gary Salyers ruled yesterday that Vanessa Baker is dead after going missing from the Lost Creek community. Federally, the Social Security Administration presumes someone is dead if they have not been heard from in 7 years. But in Kentucky, a judge can rule someone legally dead if that person went missing after a catastrophic event and a diligent search or inquiry has been made. Crews have been searching for Baker as recent as January 7th. With more winter weather in the forecast, officials are warning drivers of the dangers of slick roads and encouraging folks to play it safe. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from Kentucky Transportation Cabinet officials and local first responders on how you can safely make it to your destination.
Officials with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet are preparing for some winter weather Tuesday evening and overnight into Wednesday.
We're really looking at an early morning kind of snow potential, some slick spots, a little bit of ice underneath that because we do have those wet conditions still.
And are sharing some tips to make your morning commute a bit easier and a bit safer.
Set those alarms earlier so you have plenty of time and you don't have to worry about rushing out there and hitting potentially some of those slick spots and some of that accumulation.
While also reminding folks that KYTC crews will be out on the roads making sure travelers are safe. But remember, do not crowd a plow.
Give them a little bit of a wide berth with their vehicles because they've got snow, they got a plow in the front of it. We've had cars tailgate them, get right on the bumper of a plow and him moving down the road trying to get this road clean. You're asking for a collision at that time.
And be prepared with a cold weather kit in your car, just in case of emergencies.
What you really need is your cell phone charged up and a blanket and maybe an extra coat. That way, if you call for help, you're not going to freeze to death till we get there. You can stay warm. A blanket in the car, things like that. Let people know where you're at. Staying warm and safe despite the winter weather. In Pike County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
KYTC District 12 PIO Shantana Woodward also added that plows and salt trucks will be on the road starting at midnight to patrol, pre-treat, and spot treat ahead of the forecasted weather. Kentucky State Police have released the name of one person killed yesterday in a crash in Floyd County. Troopers say the crash happened at approximately 8:04 a.m. near Kentucky Route 1428 in the Allen community. Officers say 39-year-old Paula Vasquez of Prestonsburg died at the scene. A juvenile passenger in her vehicle also died from their injuries after being taken to the hospital. Their name has not been released. Officials with the Laurel County Coroner's Office told WYMT they have located the body of Angela Satterfield. Satterfield was last seen around noon on January 23rd at the Cumberland Falls State Resort Park. On January 28th, London Laurel Rescue Squad officials say rescue units pulled a body from a lake in London. It was called in by a fisherman around 11:35 that morning. The body was later identified as Satterfield. The details surrounding her death have not been released. 2 people were indicted in connection with an infant's death in Rockcastle on Friday. Kentucky State Police say the investigation began on August 2nd last year. A grand jury indicted 23-year-old Kirsten Durham and her then-boyfriend, 32-year-old Jonathan Durbin. Both are facing 1 count of second-degree manslaughter and 1 count of second-degree criminal abuse. The Rockcastle County Sheriff's Office is investigating an incident where a man ran away after he attempted to steal money from an ATM. The Sheriff's Office says the incident happened early this morning at the Community Trust Bank on Lake Cumberland Road. Mount Vernon police officers began chasing a white box truck traveling on Interstate 75, but ended the chase due to public safety issues and deteriorating road conditions. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Rockcastle Sheriff's Office at 606-256-4508. A big mess and the closure of a busy road in southern Kentucky this morning after a tanker truck carrying thousands of gallons of milk crashed. It happened after 8 this morning just past the off-ramp of the Hal Rogers Parkway onto the 914 bypass in Somerset. Emergency officials say the tanker was headed into Somerset from the parkway when it flipped completely over and actually barrel rolled. The driver was taken to the hospital for what we are told are non-life-threatening injuries. An environmental crew was called to clean up the milk, which could cause problems if it got into waterways.
In the quantities that this is, milk can be a danger to aquatic life. It pulls the oxygen out, it dilutes into the water. So it's not a mixture. And with that, fish, other aquatic life basically suffocate.
Officials say this is the 10th or 11th crash on that off-ramp and say what caused this one is still under investigation. Somerset Mayor and Republican candidate for governor Alan Keck is hosting a town hall meeting in Williamsburg tonight. The event started at 6 at the Williamsburg Tourism and Convention Center. Folks were invited to come out and hear the Republicans' plan for Kentucky and to ask him questions. Williamsburg Mayor Roddy Harrison says his town is open to hosting any candidate for governor.
And he called and said, hey, I'd love to do a meet and greet in your town. And so that's what this is. And it seemed like it may have been a couple of days later, Kelly Craft's campaign called and reached out to us as well.
Kelly Craft will be in Williamsburg on Friday. We'll have more from Keck's Town Hall tonight at 11. When many people think of first responders, they may think of police, firefighters, and ambulance crews. But before these people arrive on the scene, you must reach a telecommunication who will assess the situation and decide the next course of action. WYMT's Alyssa Williams spoke with several Kentucky State Police telecommunicators about what their job entails and learned more about the organization's newest additions to their telecommunications department.
Before Kentucky State Police Post 13 officials are out assessing an emergency, all calls will come through here at this telecommunications center.
This is a very stressful job. It's a very important job. I mean, you are the very first of first responders.
KSP Post 13 Telecommunications Manager Chris Hayes says telecommunicators must be prepared for anything that comes their way, whether it's helping someone with directions or something more serious.
There are a lot of calls that stay with you. Obviously, when you save someone's life or you help deliver a baby or something along those lines, those are things that stay with you. And then, you know, you've got the opposite side of that, the calls that stay with you when people have not been so fortunate, when they have died.
To continue this work, KSP will be welcoming 14 new Telecommunications Academy graduates to 8 different KSP posts, with 2 of those graduates working at KSP Post 13 in Hazard.
Oh, we love welcoming these new guys. I'm very excited about the 2 that we've got here at this post. They're very capable of doing the job.
Telecommunications graduates receive more than 160 hours of training on confidentiality, first aid, combating stress and PTSD, and several other subjects.
Those experiences shape you as a person, and they shape you as a professional, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Graduate Ethan Brown says although you must have thick skin to get through some of the calls, he is happy to have what it takes to serve the area.
I feel that I'm a very caring person. I just like to serve the public and do the best I can to help people that are in need.
Picking up the phone when duty calls. In Hazard, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Hayes says if someone is interested in this line of work, they should reach out to their local KSP post to learn more about job shadowing opportunities.
Well, coming up, we're keeping it active as we head through the rest of the work week, or at least the middle of it. The breakdown is coming up next. Plus,
are you seeing a higher price on your electric bill? You are not alone. We talked with experts to see why the price may be on the rise.